Who is going to start for Manchester United in Jose Mourinho's first game in charge against Wigan Athletic on Saturday? I'd argue this is probably one of the hardest ever predicted 11s to get right, but I'm going to give it a crack. You can see mine is going to be up here alongside you, and I'll run through and explain my choices. At right back, I've gone for Timothy Fosu-Mensah, one player who I'm extremely excited to see play this year. I'm not really sure what his position is going to be under Mourinho. Personally, I think his best position is defensive midfielder, but is he going to get game time there, especially if we sign somebody like Pogba? I think right back is going to be where he gets most of his minutes this year. Matteo Darmian, although I do think he can thrive under Mourinho, he certainly isn't our first choice right back by default. I think Fosu-Mensah's got an opportunity here, and he has played right back for the under-21s and under-18s before. At left back, Luke Shaw. I can't wait to see Luke Shaw back in a United shirt. At the start of the last season, he was our best player, and he was cruelly struck down by that injury against PSV, but he's come back. He's had a long road here, so I think it's 10 months now, and since it happened, but he's going to be ready for it. And remember, he's a Chelsea fan as a kid, so he's got Mourinho and Shaw together. Could be a great partnership. In the middle, I've gone for Eric Bailly to make his debut alongside Phil Jones. I think Chris Smalling is the only certainty in our defence next year. I think his partner, while Bailey is down on paper as our first choice partner for Chris Smalling, who knows what Phil Jones could do. We all know Phil Jones, and we know he's got the talent, but it's just injuries. But I did say that before as well about Smalling before last year, so I'm not writing Jones off yet, but I do think there is a potential for him to be sold as well. So I think a game like this is a good opportunity for Mourinho to see Jones in action. In midfield, I've gone for a midfield two of Carrick and Herrera. Now, I'm not sure what formation Mourinho's going to play next year. Could be 4-2-3-1, could go 4-3-3 like he did at the start of his Chelsea days with Duff and Robben. But with Schneiderlin away, I think Carrick is going to start. I think Carrick will start some games next year. He's going to be used in the same vein as Schweinsteiger. He won't start every game, but he will start the ones he needs to. And I think if he's used correctly, he can still be an asset to the team. Herrera, I think, is the one that has the biggest opportunity in front of him. He's very much in a Cesc Fabregas role, diminutive Spanish playmaking midfielder. And we saw that partnership of a destroyer in Matic and a creator in Fabregas that Mourinho had at Chelsea. He could potentially do that at United with Schneiderlin and Herrera, or Carrick and Herrera. Carrick's very slow, so Herrera would have to cover a lot more ground, but we'll see how that pans out. I've gone for a 4-2-3-1, as I said. My front three, Mkhitaryan to make his debut out on that wing. I can't wait to see him play. As good as Mata was and as good as Lingard was, they never had the whole package as a right winger. Mkhitaryan's got that. He's a creator, he's got pace, he's intelligent, and he's a smart player. And I think we're desperate to have that on the right wing. We saw how devastating it was with Martial out on the left. If we can have those two singing from the same hymn sheet next year, we'll be laughing. Now, in the middle, I've gone for Adnan Januzaj, simply because that picture I saw in training of Januzaj and Mkhitaryan just smiling and having a good time together. Obviously, they played with each other at Dortmund. And I think Mourinho's looking at his squad options. You know, he hasn't got anybody who played in Euro 2016, so no Martial, no Rooney, no... I've forgotten all the other players that played. But I don't think he's going to play Juan Mata because I consider it a little bit inevitable that he's going to sell him. Unless something has dramatically changed since he sold him as a double player of the year at Chelsea, I don't think he's going to be here during the season. So why play him? And I think Januzaj's got a point to prove. He didn't have the best of year last year, did he? It was a pretty atrocious year all round. Bad Dortmund loan, came back, hardly played at all. Van Gaal throws him out. Number 10 is his favourite position. And maybe that little partnership there with Mkhitaryan could develop. We'll see. And I've gone for Memphis out on the left wing. I don't know where Memphis is going to play this season, but rekindling that partnership down the left flank with Memphis and Shaw, that could be phenomenal. I don't know where that leaves Martial, whether that means Martial's playing up front. We've got Ibrahimovic now. There's loads of question marks around this team. That's why it's such a hard predicted 11 to go for. But I think Memphis out on the left, I think that's where he's most natural. And if he works together again well with Shaw, could be devastating. And up front, I've gone for James Wilson. We obviously know Wayne Rooney, no Zlatan Ibrahimovic, no Marcus Rashford. So we're down to Ashley Fletcher's been sold. We've got Will Keane and we've got James Wilson. I think out of the two, James Wilson is someone who suits Mourinho a bit more, and he can get those runs in behind. Will Keane's a little bit slower now. Still a good finisher in his day, but his fitness is obviously the biggest question. But I would rather see James Wilson start. He had good points on loan last season at Brighton. Not incredible, but I wouldn't write him off just yet. Let's not forget his breakthrough he had in his debut against Hull under Giggs, scored 2. Didn't really work out for him the next season. Very similar to Januzaj in his second season. This is a fresh start for both of them, and I'd love to see what James Wilson does up front in that team. So that's my predicted 11. Let me know if you agree or disagree with it. Leave yours in the comments below. And no matter who plays, it's going to be an exciting game, and football is going to be back, and that's what's most important. So subscribe to United People's TV if you're new, and we'll see you soon. Take it easy.